maybe something that we're saying is broken, but the devs are like, nah, that works perfectly fine. But we're not communicated with that until we say, hey, it's
because
broken.
they don't. Well, yeah, because they don't want you guys to be an uproar about it. I mean, that's the logical thing about, like, me personally. I know exactly why they or any other company, the reason why they don't respond is because they don't want they don't want to make that the focal point, so it becomes a topic on a video, it becomes a huge debacle, etc. So it's rather they just keep it quiet, because at that point that's something that they think for every small thing, so they're not going to voice that for every small thing.
Okay, but isn't it getting videos and being an uproar without even them replying or making a point? It is. If they reply, people will understand that they are replying and communicating. I have to send you something for you to send them something, for them not to decide either to respond to you or not to respond to you about this something. I had to feedback it 1 million times, 1 million posts talking about the same subject for them to either decide to tell you yes or no. Then you come and tell me, like, yeah, they got it, they will work on it, or they will not work on it. It took how many months for them to fix some stuff that we asked for? Until now, we had a problem. One of the people that said Summer Yang, yeah, he's fixed now, he buffs the team. No, he doesn't. They fixed him. He wasn't buffing at all. Now he's buffing, but only himself. And I thought he's buffing all the team. And people came back at me and told me, we tested it. No, you were right at your first video that he buffs only himself. But it wasn't working also for himself. Now it works for himself, not for the whole team. And I was like, I don't know what to think anymore.
That's what I was trying to say. You have to be detailed with it. So it's like, okay, there's people, for example, Summer Yang. Okay. They mentioned there was an issue. We submitted that feedback. The developers did something to it. So they did something. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they communicated that. But then after the fact...
No. They didn't communicate. No, they didn't communicate. There's a difference between... Okay. Okay. No. Let me talk.
Hold on, Peter. Hold on. We gotta let other people a chance to talk as well.
Just let me finish it. They said the issue with him is fixed. That's what they said. The issue with his buffing is fixed. They didn't say if it buffs the whole team now or it buffs only him. They just replied that it's fixed.
The clarification
right, so they didn't offer community feedback. That's what I'm saying.
So they didn't give us an answer. Our question was,
gave you an update. No, I mean, they gave you something. If it's not working again, you just keep game feedbacking it until it gets fixed. Like, legitimately, that's the reality of the game. So,
but you told us that in their description, this is how they describe it. We have to discover what it means. Like, until now, the problem is we don't know the text means for him to buff the whole team or just himself. People doesn't understand it yet. And they didn't give us complete like explanation on this. They just said we fixed it. Fixed what? Now he buffs the team or buffs himself? It's written in the explanation. You go figure it out. What do you mean? That's my point. I mean,
that's the thing. You have to give feedback at that point and see if we can get another answer on that.
You answered that on other subject. You said that their feedback or their reply was, it's intended the way that we wrote it. This is how it was on different versions. This is how we made it now. So they didn't tell us
for everything. I didn't say it for that specific one. No. I didn't say it for that specific one. I was saying, for example, like translations with Cammy, when people were bringing up something about execute. Well, we went back to the devs, and the devs said, no, that's intended to say that. When players are saying that's not intended in that way, we actually intended it to be that way. That's what I was trying to say. That's a specific topic, though. That's a specific topic of the translation.
No, 100%. I'm with them on this point. When they said DiCaprio execute was supposed to work this way, I see it. But people don't understand numbers. Most of people, I'm not saying people are dumb or whatever, but most of people don't do this calculation. They said whenever the hero is below 40%, she can execute him, but doesn't exceed 300 and something of her attack. 300, let's say. If their HP at 40% exceed the 300% of her attack, she can't execute him. And this is what people never understood. They thought, oh, he's below 40%, he should die right now. And it's not true. There's a condition. above the attack range of what they described. And this is 100% I'm with the devs. And what they replied is completely understandable. But when they say, like, we tell them, like, it's something in the translation, we don't understand it. And they say, no, this is the translation. It's like this. Okay, just add, yeah, and we mean that he buffs himself or the entire team. Like, why you couldn't do that? What kills you for not saying such simple things? Just give us peace of mind.
They don't want to say it because it could cause like an uproar in the community. And that's one of the things they don't want to see consistently. They'd rather have an uproar 30% of the time than 60%. That's how companies think. If the uproar would be like, people would be like, whoa, like, hold on. So it's like, we gave this feedback and all of a sudden you're saying it's this? Like, no. And people will actually complain. That's the things they're trying to avoid, I would assume. And that's usually how companies are. Like, they would rather have uproar 30% of the time rather than 60%. Because they know there's going to be an uproar, but they would like to control that uproar in some way.
Yeah, our uproar they don't care for. We're just the small fishes and just biting at the ankles.
Yeah, but what I'm talking is about a specific thing. They intended like a unit to do a specific thing. Okay, we didn't understand it because it had a bug. They fixed the bug. Now we understand it how they intended it, but some people didn't because they thought it does something else. It doesn't cause uproar if they come and tell us, no, it does exactly this way. Like, if you create a spoon and tell me this is for soup, and I go eat pasta with it, and then you come and tell me, and because the handle is crooked, now you fix the crooked handle, but it's still meant for soup, and people are eating pasta with it and said it doesn't work for pasta, you just tell them, oh, it's meant for soup. How does that make an uproar?
You lost me a soup.
Because I want pasta, damn it.
So I think there's like a little bit of a consistency issue because some units will only do things for themselves, but the game will clearly state that it's for said unit. 100%. Like it'll say the unit's name. Where Summer Yang, if it is intended for him, it's weird that it doesn't just say his name. Then it would be no qualms, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just him. It's just there's inconsistency when things are for the team or for a specific unit. Because like I said, some units say it is only for a unit by name, and then in the case of Summer Yang, it just says whatever it says, but if it is just for him, it should just say his name, like, and it's just plain text. Nobody can argue about it.
And Dino, to be honest, I will say, like, with all respect, I think it's just a lazy part from the devs, or they just like they don't actually know what they did. I swear to God, this is how it looks for me. They don't actually know, and they didn't test. Like, we did the buff or something, and does it work for the team? Should we make it for the team or for him? Let's not say this and just leave it at that. Is it either laziness, or just not caring? And that's what I
don't think they have a testing team like that as you think. Like, I think they thought like the players would be happier to do that. Honestly, that could be it. Because from what I've noticed, I don't think the dev team is that big for this project. So they might not have the QA assistance that they would like that you just mentioned. But that's on their side. That's not something that like a publisher controls.
100%.
So like we can't say, hey, we have Pika, we have these people, we can put them on contract as a publisher and they can help you out. But we can't do that because we don't have the game development rights for this title.
No. I wasn't saying that at all. I said their team, like, they go.
No, I get you. I'm just saying, if I gave a solution, right? If I gave a solution to what you just said, we couldn't do that even if we wanted to. So, what I know with the team right now is the reason they don't do as much QA as they do is because that team for this project isn't as big as you guys think.
When I said Top Joy is not the biggest company, this is the biggest game they did, and they're just a small team relatively to other developers' team. The reply I got from everybody and started everybody bashing me. Even you, Dino, you told me that no, it's a big company. You told me the staff number is a lot.
That Top Joy was a big company. I just said that they might have like 200 to 300 employees, but again, keep in mind they do work on other stuff. So like not all 200 to 300 of those employees are working on Street Fighter Duel. It's exactly like with Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has, not including Sony Pictures because Crunchyroll is a Sony Pictures company, but not including them, Crunchyroll has like 1,000 employees. How many do you think actually works in games? And that's not just Street Fighter Duel. How many do you think actually works in games as on the publishing side? It's like maybe 30 of us. How many of you actually think how many of that 30 works on Street Fighter Duel? See what I mean? So it's like it goes lower and lower. And I'm part of that. So I'm just one small part, one small cookie of the 1,000 employees overall at Crunchyroll working on Street Fighter Duel.
What about A+?
That's how it is.
Why nobody from A+ come and watch this or listen to us or talk?
Because
or
A+
anything?
doesn't have a community manager. Guys, they're their own company. They're their own company. So I'm doing it really on behalf of them. So any feedback that I gather, I'm alone. Like I have to put that in a feedback sheet. I have to send it over. It's up to the devs whether they do something or not. A+ doesn't have a community manager.
And they're the bigger company.
A+ is not the bigger company. They're the smaller one compared to Crunchyroll, but they are the main publisher.
Yeah, that's what I meant. My bad. Bad wording.
Yeah, they're a smaller team.
So-
actually.
I just want to say, like, in terms of like earlier, before when you're saying like, why should we sort of like test and stuff, Pika? I'm just thinking about it like this. So, say at the beginning in the first like 2 months, maybe they would have been like more open to testing the things with the limited people that they do that we like submit and stuff like that. But then, say they have an instance of like, okay, they tested this, and then okay, this like worked or whatever, this worked, and then they kind of go, well, we're wasting our time with our limited, number of people. So then after a point, the onus ends up becoming ours as the players to provide that video proof, even though it sounds crappy, but it's like a corner we could have like backed ourselves into. And this is like what we might need to do to like regain trust. And once they see that, oh, hey, no, we're actually able to provide like the actual accurate information via our videos, maybe they'll be more trusting to trust our word rather than submitting video after video after video. You know what I mean? And as us content creators, we're making videos anyways.
Yeah, but this is not okay. Let me summarize this as clear as possible. They did well with the launch. The game got great attraction. They couldn't maintain it. They did the mistake of the Gormagala event at the start. I don't know the strategy by whom. Was it from the publishers or the devs or both combined? It was a big flop. It was a very bad strategy that was intended to milk and run so fast. Cash grab. You can do this cash grab strategy in the middle of this game, like after 3-4 months. At the start, they made it. They lost a big majority of respect and player base, and this affected the game so much. There's no coming back after that.
Okay, so let me just answer one part because you're like who's what. So the publishers were the ones to get the collaboration deal. As for like the time lapse and what happened, it's the dev's choice when they release an event, and that was their choice.
Okay. Just it's you defending the publishers. I get it, but I was saying
No, it's not defending. That's just how it is. I mean, there's a difference between defending and this and that. The publisher in this case, we only get the rights to collab. So like, it's exactly like Street Fighter Duel. We only license this game. So collabs, we also only license the collabs. It's the same exact thing.
Okay, so every revenue goes to the devs, and you get a part of it, right?
We get the majority of it because it's in our region, but the developers are calling the shots on how the event is presented and what the event does and when it happens.
So if you have a new idea for a collab,
Oh yeah, so if we have an idea for a collab, it's up to the developers how they make the character and how they do that. It's not our
okay. Sorry for the noises in the background. If let's say you went to the Ninja Turtles, I don't know who's the owners of it, but let's say, and they said like, our characters are these, we want to see how they are made and to approve on their abilities and how they are sold, because this is what collab is all about.
No, okay, so you almost had everything except for the last one. So so for example, you said TMNT, which by the way, that's not confirmed. But I think TMNT is Paramount. So Paramount, what they will do is all that you're charge of as a publisher is you're going to pay Paramount for the IP. So you pay Paramount for that fee, and then you also submit them how the characters would look like, what they would do, and you submit all that to them. Then they would be like everything that you said except the money part. They don't touch how you deal with your own game.
How you sell it.
You're just paying for the IP to utilize their IP to your game because they understand that you're going to make revenue on it. So that's why they sell IPs the way they do to other companies as well. It's only the rights to use it during events and so on. It's not to dictate how you decide after that. Because as publishers, we don't even have that dictation too. So for them, it's just like, you have the rights to this game. We know what you can do. You're purchasing a license from us to have this collaboration for a game. So if you want this collaboration, you need to pay us X amount. And that X amount, people think it's small, but it's actually not. So if you want all these characters, you're going to add each total. They may even say, hey, if you want to use, I don't know, the enemies, we can give you a discount included, but that discount is actually you paying more to get all those characters. That's how licensing works. And then you decide as the publisher, okay, maybe we can afford this, or maybe we can do that. Maybe we feel the community will support this. So then you go off of that, and then you hand it to the developers, and the developers at that point, they make the game how they want. They decide all of that. It's nothing between the publisher nor the IP collaboration that you're working on.
Great. So you're telling us that the skills and abilities and how the unit is represented and what faction and stuff like that, it's decided by the publishers and from whom they come
No,
up with.
not that. No. Factions and stuff like that is not decided by the publisher.
By whom?
Because that's
By the
game
owners?
related stuff. That's what you just talked about is game related stuff. Game
Okay,
related.
So the devs only. So the devs tell them that we want to do them that way, and they agree with it. Paramount.
Paramount doesn't care about that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's what I
Paramount
thought.
only cares about how the character is designed and how it looks like. They're not going to learn about Street Fighter Duel. You just give them a glimpse about the game. That's how these games work. They're like, oh, what's your game about? Then you're like, oh, Street Fighter Duel is a free-to-play mobile game, yada, 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 da-da-da-da. Oh, that's awesome. What did you want to do? Then you're like, oh, we want this collaboration. Got it. Here's our price for this. For you to use it. Then you're like, okay, we have the rights now because we paid for it. Now we have to figure out, okay, the duration. This is how long we want it. Paramount or whoever may be like, okay, now you need to pay an extra on top of that because now we know your duration of the project or the IP that you want to use. So you're paying more on top of that. So that's the only thing that's on the publisher side. After that, the publisher saying, hey, this got approved to the developers. The developers also have to agree if they have the time to do it. That's the other thing. Like before those deals happen, the developers are like, let's see if we actually have time for this. And then if they do have time for it, they'll be like, yeah, let's do it. So then you actually, at that point, go to whoever the company is that owns the IP and be like, hey, we'd love to feature this in our game. And then once you have that, then you submit that to the developers. And at that point, it's the developers' call on what they do with the game and how those characters are ultimately decided in terms of factions, mall, etc. That's all on the devs. It's up to them.
Perfect. Okay, the Nero and Virgil collab with the DMC. You got the rights as publishers, right? And they made the characters.
Yep, how they presented the characters and what they do and how they are obtained, etc. That's anything game related, anything inside the game is what
the Taiwanese also. The Taiwanese also got the rights, and they did the Nero and
yeah, they did as well. Yeah, they decided to because as a developer, they can present that to other regions. And if the other publishers have the money for it, they have to pay for it too.
Yeah, but why did they make it different? Not the same way that we have it.
Because that's how they want to do it for those regions. That's why these games are not connected. It's up to the developers what they decide is best for the given regions that they're supporting. Because they own the product. They own the product, man. So like they make the decisions on what they want to do.
But isn't that a bad move? I mean, if I was A plus or Crunchyroll, I would never work with Top Joy anymore. They're just big failures.
I mean, for them, they think that it's a good idea, and we.
I don't care what they think. I care for what you think. You are the one that is paying the money for a successful game, for your reputation and your name. You're the one that is in the front line.
I will hope not.
Everybody
Tick.
is blaming
That-
Crunchyroll in the end.
I don't think Dino can talk about this without getting into trouble with anyone.
Yeah, there's
So
contracts
maybe.
and laws.
So
and stuff
maybe,
like that.
yeah. So let's maybe move on from this because
Yeah.
if Dino talks
agree.
about this, then it's just it cannot go good for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Now back
Right.
to Street Fighter duels. Because we're on the topic of collabs and stuff like that, and again, Dino said nothing's confirmed and anything. What can we hope to see? Anything different in the next event, or do you want to see like the events be the way they are now and just keep going with it? Because like the events themselves as a whole, with in terms of materials and exchanges and how they are handled for the most part, I don't think anyone has said anything negative towards them.
You know, I love Dante's event because none of the Explorer version of it was time gated. It was all power based and then gated with workbench and stuff. And then they just removed that from the DMC collab, from the next DMC collab with Virgil and Nero, and it was just a bit weird for me. Like, sure, some players were able to beat it on the first or second day. I was one of those people. But I, again, put the time and effort into it. But there's just people that just waited or, like, didn't really have a chance.
Yeah, I never understood that. Like, why change it from that? That's what I'm saying. It's like, why break what works?
Yeah, I mean, the not time gating, but just power gating and giving people upgrades over time so they can beat it easily is such a great model. And I just don't understand why you're like going back to, okay, now you have to wait 48 hours. Now you have to wait 48 hours. Oh, now you thought you would have to wait another 48 hours. Nope, you just get to unlock these two simultaneously, which was also just never mentioned, which just doesn't really make any sense to me.
Oh, Zangief, actually, what you and Casual are talking about, this question is unpopular and outrageous opinion. If it's a successful business, who cares if it's a good game? And how Casual says, if it's a bad game, then the business won't stay successful. It's like, what is the criteria of a successful business? Like, is it enough that, like how I said, like the word stated before, a cash grab? Is it a cash grab and make it successful? Like, all right, you got 10 million, now the game's dead. It did what we wanted to do. It got to 10 million. Let's see how much we'll milk out of it, and that's a successful business. It's like, is that what you consider successful? Because some might say then, like, you know, that Street Fighter Duels did its job.
You just described the current state of idle heroes. Congratulations.
So I just wanted to ask, it's like, how does that go?
I mean, I'll just let them type it out, but I
No,
don't
it
know.
worked for Street Fighter Duel, actually. It worked. They pulled it off.
Well,
They pulled
that's
it
what I'm
off.
saying. Like, it can't. Like, we could, by that ideology, we could say that Street Fighter Duels was a success to Crunchyroll A plus and Top Joy. Anything else after that is just the icing on the cake, whatever. Hence why, you know, the business decisions are questionable. It's kind of like a guy just tossing darts at a board just to see what works. So that the next game, they're like, all right, we tossed this dart and this dart didn't work. But then we tossed this dart and this one was a gold mine. So let's do all the gold mine stuff and screw all the other stuff.
I mean, look.
No. Look,
Do you understand
the game- this game, Street Fighter Duel, is successful, okay? And to us, the point that how we look at it as player base and community, Crunchyroll care for the game and for the reputation of the game more than Top Joy, and it's kind of a duh moment because they're the one that is promoting the game, and it's like basically A plus Crunchyroll. This is their game, and they want to maintain a good image in front of the players to play other games for them. When that Gormagala Ken dropped, and they got the money from it, but it had bad reviews, they fixed it so quick to like have a free unit, talk to the devs, like, let's fix this. We don't want bad reputation about us being only milking people. And they tried to fix this as soon as possible. This is why the game didn't end there, you know? But I don't think that Crunchyroll or A Plus wants like a game to be like, oh, our games are cash grab. We're just getting the money for successful business. They want it to last as long as possible, and plus gaining money from it. They're doing good job actually, but the people that's messing up for them, to be honest, is the devs. They're messing things up so bad with their strategies, and maybe I will not say laziness. I will say less caring for what comes after. That's what I think. I mean, it's only
I
logical
mean,
to
less
think
caring
that way.
is laziness to an extent. So.
The other thing I'll say is like could be like a cultural thing. Like again, I'm gonna go back to that. Not trying to defend any group or whatever. It could be a cultural thing. That's just how they view business or how they do business for this stuff. So it's like we, as publishers that's licensing off of this, it's not our say how a product is made. I go back to the anime example because most people who are in the anime community, they'll understand what Crunchyroll does. It's really the same thing as the games. You're just licensing off of whoever actually owns the product. And if you really have a say for that, you kind of go to the person who owns it. I think it might have been Hazink, actually. I heard a video recently that said something about like there was like an AliExpress place, and it's like you have this product and it costs X amount. And then the person who buys it off of it, in this case, would be the publisher. And the publisher would then, or the person would sell it in their own territories. It's kind of like that, I guess. And we have to kind of like make up for what we're paying for in a sense, but also there is more costs. It's a bare bones example, but it kind of helps explain to people exactly what's going on. But that's what happens when you work with licensed properties. If you don't own the product, you don't have as much say as you think. That's why a lot of companies, they dive into original IP. Original IP means something like Hoyoverse and Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact, that's what they created. That was an IP they created. Means less cost for everything. They make their own models. They have their own teams. It's one company operating one game. How they do it is totally up to that one company. It's the same like Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 is owned by Capcom. Capcom is in charge of whoever is involved on the project. That's why when you guys look at the credits for Street Fighter 6, it's like there's like 60 different companies that help. But that was because Capcom had the ability to sign them on as like a contractor status or a partnership in that way. We don't have a power to do that as somebody licensing off of something. That's just never been a thing. But that information is known in the community. That's not like confidential information. A lot of the things that I tell you guys, it's known in the public. It's just not known in the gacha game community for whatever reason, because they view games differently. But it's actually the similar like anime. How you guys watch Chainsaw Man, for example, it's one studio that's in charge of it all. That studio has their own boss. That boss for that studio is the one telling them how the anime should be run. But then that studio has to get approval from the actual owner of that IP, which Chainsaw Man in this case is owned by Shueisha. So studio, I think it was Bones or whatever, they're the ones that do the anime, but they have to get approval from Shueisha, who owns the IP. After that, you have companies like Crunchyroll or whatever trying to bring that anime globally. So then Crunchyroll goes to the studio that was in charge of the anime. And then that studio who is in charge of the anime goes strictly to the IP owner. And then the IP owner has to approve whatever Crunchyroll wants, but then the studio becomes the middleman. You see how that works? That's literally what it is. That's licensing 101. That's absolutely how it works.
It's kind of to a similar, like to a certain extent, it's similar to gacha, but not 100%. Like if you get a license for an anime, people will rent it, buy it, or have a subscription to Crunchyroll, watch it, and the end they stop watching it. So the watch time is what you look at when it's dropping.
But it's the same as a gacha.
Stop it.
It's the same as a gacha because Crunchyroll has no creative control on the anime. So like how you see like the studio that makes the animations and stuff, they're the ones in charge of how that's made. It's the same as this game. Topjoy, the developers of this game, they're the ones that's making the things that you guys like, that you guys dislike. If you're applauding anyone, you should applaud them. If you're not so happy, that kind of goes to them too. So that's a difference. Like if there's like for example, One Punch Man season 2, this was a completely different studio that worked on the anime, and people were like complaining how the anime was. Those complaints go to the studio. It doesn't go to the license. It doesn't go to Viz Media. It doesn't go to Hulu. It doesn't go to them because they don't have control of that product. They only have the license to either stream it or sell it on home video or merchandise. That's it. So that's completely different because they have no creative control on the product itself. It's a different team altogether, a different company, actually, not team, but company altogether that's actually in charge of that. The people that are licensing off stuff have no creative control on that.
Yeah,
All you're saying is we should complain to Capcom, and then they're gonna shut the game down. Okay.
Low.
I'm kidding. Joking.
So, off topic, Dino. If an anime, let's say 2 seasons and that's it, it's over, and people watched it, and the watch time became like so much low, does Crunchyroll remove it from the Crunchyroll system or something?
They have to because it shows that people are not interested in the show because Crunchyroll has to pay a fee for the duration of a period of them having the show, and it really depends on the extent. So, for example, that's why you'll see with Crunchyroll, it's like, whoa, Crunchyroll has merchandise for Spy Family, or Crunchyroll has this for Spy Family, but a lot of the other anime that they have, they don't have merch. They don't have Blu-ray. That's because there's an extent of what the publisher purchases too, and if they think that it's going to do well in their region. So if Crunchyroll sees like, whoa, this is a big hit in Japan, we actually think the global market will love Spy Family. And then they purchase Spy Family in terms of that license that they just acquired, and they have the right to stream it, create products around it. Well, the product as in the Blu-ray, DVD, etc., but they don't have creative control on the anime. Like how the anime is made is always going to be the studio. That's always up to them and how they make their product. Like fully, the full thing that you guys, like your detail is for gacha games, for example, that's exactly an anime. So with Crunchyroll, those things, like if it doesn't do well on the streaming service, it shows that no one has interest in it. Why should Crunchyroll continually pay for the license? It's exactly like Netflix. If Netflix noticed that like Pokemon, for example, is not bringing in revenue for people to subscribe to Netflix, there's no reason that Netflix should keep Pokemon, because then it shows that people are not interested in Pokemon on Netflix. So Netflix will be like, all right, we can't continue this because we don't see the value of it, because we're not getting revenue or new users to pay for the app, because no one's interested in this series right now. So we have to remove it from the app. And we don't have the license for it anymore at that point. What's up?
Is it applied also to the games? Like if the
It's applied to
becomes,
games.
like so low and the revenue is so low that it doesn't cut it.
Yeah, because as a publisher, you do take the brute force of the server costs, licensing fees, trying to keep interest in terms of collabs. You're in charge of all that. So that's the prices that you have to pay, and you hope that the community can support it. But if this community can't, then yeah, it has to go away, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. I just hope that they do good strategies from now on to maintain whatever they can maintain with this player base and the community. As the devs, like, because I don't know. I have a sad feeling that this game will not last that long, and it's in my opinion, one of the successful games that Crunchyroll released.
It's well, another thing. This is kind of like slightly off topic, but this is literally all for licensed games. So right now there's like this Black Clover game that some people have been talking about. They're like, "Yo, this is so fun," etc. And I watched a video from Rokage, and the questions that Rokage brings up. I mean, again, I understand that he doesn't like fully aware what's going on. But it's like, dude, it's exactly what I told you with Crunchyroll Games. This applies to any publisher that doesn't own the IP. Black Clover is owned by Shueisha because they own the IP. After that, there's a developer or something that owns the second part of that IP, which is game development. So they own the game. So you have two heads that's kind of like in charge. And then you as a global publisher, which he mentioned how like global kept getting like pushback, etc. That's up to the dev as well. Like those pushbacks and stuff is completely up to the devs for those versions too. Even if you have the publishing rights and you're getting the license acquired, that's also up to the dev how they do that. But the publisher is obviously the one that people put the full blame on because they think in this case the publisher has that power. But you guys will see with Black Clover, it might not be monetization issues like this game that you guys mentioned, but Black Clover will have some hiccups similar to what we go through because the publisher over there, I think they're also like a startup and they also don't have the power because they don't own Black Clover, so that's going to hurt them too. So that's what I'm trying to say. Licensed games do have a bit of a struggle because you do have to deal with so many different things and of course so many different people. You guys will notice that with the Black Clover game, and that's not like confidential information. That's just how things are. It's just a lot of people don't know that. And you guys will definitely see that with Black Clover. You will see issues with that game, but that's actually because of what the publisher is going through, which they themselves don't want that to happen. They don't want that to happen. I want to make that clear too. The publishers wish they could do everything they could to help, but they don't own the game development rights. That's never going to be a thing unless they purchase the company, which is a completely different thing. But no one's going to purchase a company for one game. Like for example, Crunchyroll as a publisher is not going to purchase Topjoy because we only work with Topjoy on one game. It doesn't make sense because to buy a company, that's way more money than anything. So that's the only way they would have more creative control is if they actually owned the developers. And I said that before, but we don't own the developers. It's a partnership.
We've seen it in public. It takes Elon Musk type money to buy a company.
I actually don't know how much like they would cost in specific, but each company, their CEO, their head will be like, "Yo, we're as a company, this is how much we cost." It could be 200 million. Like the Street Fighter Duel make 200 million. Like you never know what.
Does someone have to go to court to get that information? Like legit, like legally? Because obviously, I would assume that's not just a random public thing. But like, let's
they
say
do
someone...
an assessment when you want to buy a company.
Okay. So
this is
it's done through like lawyers.
This is my
stuff.
business now. When we buy a company, we make an assessment. We send them our information. They send us their information. We sit down. We do a meeting. We agree on points and we talk on points and we do a contract and then we decide when to buy a company or something. It requires a lot of process, a lot of papers. It's not a 1 week thing. It's basically more than a month. It requires a lot of lawyers, and depending on countries and the laws between them. This is what happens when you want to merge or buy companies. There's a lot of talks to this. It's not just there's evaluation process that goes. Even a third party is also included for the evaluation, so everybody's numbers get accurate. They can't tell you, "Oh, our company is $1 billion and that's it." No, they can't do that. If they want to really sell or merge or something, they need to come with accurate numbers, and you need to send them your proposal, and there will be a third party to evaluate everything to make it fair. There's a lot of process that they go under this.
But I will say it's obviously for Sir Turtle, the high. So you have like executives that makes those calls, like somebody higher than an executive. Mm-hmm. So they obviously will discuss, and they might send an email like, "Hey, we're really interested in purchasing you guys," or something. However they formulate that, that's up to them. The company can say no, or they can be like, "Oh, that sounds great. I'm kind of curious on this." So they'll start, having meetings, and it's like a slow process, and then they'll be like, yeah, this is how much we're worth. And then from there, if all sides agree and everything looks great, they look at their legal processes between both companies, etc. Then, yeah, as what Pika mentioned, it becomes more like a government involved. Like, for example, like with the Microsoft trying to buy like the fully like Blizzard or something, I think. In some places it worked, but in other countries it was like, hold on, actually, I don't think you guys can do this, but we'll look into it. And then it becomes like a bigger deal after that because of monopoly and stuff. So, yeah, it's a process.
Maybe one day we'll have this information a little bit more open.
I mean, it's out there. It's just you have to find the right people to follow. Exactly. But like in gacha gaming, all those gacha games, they don't have anybody. They just have YouTubers right now. And the YouTubers don't get this info because they don't have community managers they can go to, because most gacha games don't have community managers. And if they do, a lot of them don't really talk like that. A lot of them stay in the shadow because they know the games that they're working on will have issues because they have no control over it. That's why a lot of them are staying quiet, because they know it's better to stay quiet and not get targeted. But with me, I'm fine with it. I'm like, whatever. If you call me a piece of shit, if you think that I'm like the owner of this game, which is funny, all right. If you say whatever you do, I don't care, because I know at the end of the day, it's not true. It's just the shit that we're dealing with that is happening for any company. That's just how it is.
Yeah, but casual says fix the game, Dino.
I wish you could just, do that. But.
I want to ask you a question. Is it part of a contract for, not specifically this game, but I will say it as an example. Let's say the game is like over, it's discontinued by Crunchyroll and A+, and they just stop the game. Can Topjoy publish it themselves after that and gain all the money back from all the previous purchases? Not get the money back. What I mean is promote units that you used to get money from, and they get money from again.
It's pretty simple. So this is like a layer of information. So this is for any company. So the info I give you, this is pretty much how it goes. If a publisher decides like, okay, we're done with it, it is up to the developer whether they want to continue to do it. If the developer doesn't want to, which is why they don't do it at the start, because they would rather have a publisher globally license the game and do that, because those costs don't affect them. So now it does affect them if they want to keep it global, but they also have access to whether it actually performed well and why the publishers left. So if they think like it was a good reason as to why the publishers left, more than likely they're not going to self-publish. They're just going to say, this is done. This version is done. Thank you for playing. It's over. But they have that power. It's just, does the money look fine? Is all that situated? Because then they have to have those costs. And yes, any choices they make from there on, they make money on that stuff. But they don't make money on the things that should be going to a publisher. That is licensing for those regions. But yeah, if a publisher books it, yes, the developers at any time could say like, okay, we'll just migrate this. We'll take it on. This will be something that will be for us, which has happened for many titles. Actually, there has been some Crunchyroll Games titles where that happened. Crunchyroll decided like, it's not working for our regions. It's not working for us. We're done with the project, but if you guys could keep it going, that'd be great. They'll be like, you know what? I think we can hold out for a little bit. And it's usually to stall time, which is unfortunate, because you'll see a lot of gacha games, like in general, they'll slowly taper off. Like even the developer, they might take control, but a lot of people will see like in a year or maybe two after that, the game is going to go away because the developer has no wish to keep it going like that if it's not making money. So because it can't keep up with the costs, because they also have to worry about their own stuff too. The other projects they work on or anything else they're assigned, like if they just don't have the budget for it or the goals to keep that going, they'll just scrap it and work on a different project. That's just kind of how it is.
On that note, does anyone want to bring up anything before we call it a night for the podcast itself?
Yeah, the TMMT is not confirmed 100%.
Yeah.
Correct.
No,
Yeah, no one
that-
knows when's that coming
not
up.
confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Just one-
Dino, what do you think about data mining and that stuff? Because I'm actually curious.
I mean, me personally, on a community side, I think it's awesome to see that because I can see like what information you guys already are aware that the devs are doing, that maybe we need to talk to the devs and see what they're doing on our side. Just, if everything's fine, like, is this intended the way it's supposed to be, etc. And if the devs intended for you guys to see that things in advance in the way they were, maybe they don't want to change that. So that's up to the devs as well. But me personally, I like seeing that stuff because it gives me an idea, again, what you guys know, what you guys are hyped for, this and that. It's not something that I would assume like the other teams would like for marketing purposes, because they would love to, like, for example, the social media marketing folks, like, they would love to tease those units first, or to tease information first, because it helps with traction on the channels and getting
Which
people
units?
aware of the game and stuff. But if somebody else does it for them, it kind of like ruins it in a way, because they always want like the publisher to be first, because you're marketing this game with the limitations you have, and those limitations, you're also now being limited to what happens from a data mine. So it hurts to see that for them. But like, as a community manager, I personally like it because you guys are continually interested in the game. You guys want to talk about it. You have something to look forward to in the future. But I would say for most teams, I think it's problematic. So
Just grab it right here.
Well, I mean, even
Grab it right here. I'll literally use a little one.
even Destiny 2 is
I'm
immune
gonna
to
go.
data mining. Their stuff gets put out all of the time, all the time. Even Fortnite, like we know about units in Fortnite like weeks before they even come out.
Wait, there's still people playing Fortnite? What the
Well,
fuck?
Bro, I play Fortnite.
From my side, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna data mine anymore. If I data mine, I'll do it only for myself. I'm not gonna talk about it. I've seen people said that things. I told some things. They went and said it publicly, even credit me or not. And content created talk about stuff that I did, and they never mentioned me. So I'm like, why should I give information if I'm not credited for? So I'm not gonna data mine anymore. And so far, I was the only one doing it. If somebody else does it, I'll be happy. But it's not worth my time anymore. So no data mining for anyone anymore. If I want to do it, I'll do it for fun, for me only.
Like
Look,
for me, I have like
Hello, guys.
somebody who
I
can
just
like,
want to ask if somebody can help me manage a team in SF Duels.
Yeah, go to Street Fighter help and
Yeah, but
ask
nobody's
if there's
answering
help
that, right? I also
Tag
put that.
Tix
Right
or
now, at the
Lukish
moment,
or
we're
anybody
currently in
from
an
the helper.
active call, so that's not for this time at the moment.
Okay, so guys, thank you.
What were you saying, Don?
I was saying like like obviously in content creators and stuff like that. Like I've just been exploring the.
Your sound is too low, bro.
Mine is too low. What the heck is going on? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I hear him perfectly.
Okay.
That's better.
So I've been exploring the Taiwan version, right? But the thing is, I'm not gonna like the stuff that I'm seeing. Like, it's never stuff that you're ever gonna see inside of like the general games discussion. Like, I've put up here where I've talked to Turtle or something and be like, man, it'd be really cool if this unit ends up working out like this when we get it. But it's not like, oh man, this is what the unit is gonna do. You know what I mean?
I
And
think
I think it's
I
like
think
I
for
think it's
me-
fun to explore that stuff, but like coming out and say it's like a definitive thing, I don't think.
Yeah,
It's
so I think for me, it never say it's a definitive thing, because like even Dino says, no one knows until it's out, because even the devs made change things within the last 24 hours. For me, it's more of, I like to know information, and I like to know what's coming. And it's not necessarily like I'm not saying okay, you have to give me the kit 6 months in advance, but like let me know. Hey, Mummy Dawson is coming. Give me a quick video playthrough. You don't even gotta explain the skills, but like let me look at it. Because if not, then if I want to find that information, guess where I'm gonna find it? Taiwan, China, other places that is not that has this information. And it also sucks that like if let's say okay, I gotta wait a week. If I knew I had to wait a week before the unit came out, I'll wait until then to at least get information. But we don't get any information. It's more of like a Pokemon. Who's this unit? And that is it. That is like the most boring thing possible, and that does not build hype. Not for at least not for me. Maybe for other people, they're
That's
like,
because
yeah.
they change it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Yeah, it could be an old-fashioned thing. Like, for example, this is like what companies do. I'm not saying this is what's happening for this, but I will say with Asian companies, it's like this. They don't want to tease you stuff so in advance because they feel that you're going to save gems and resources or whatever for it. And that actually hurts them profitability wise because they'd rather you spend what's available now. So you spend everything and then last second what's happening. So then you would spend money. You see what I mean?
That's everything is priced so absurdly high. It's like,
yeah.
If it was
like
affordable, that I
money.
makes sense.
That's the thing is nothing's actually affordable. Like if you're a Giga Whale, sure, beautiful, great. But to like the average dolphin, divinations, special summons are completely out of the picture. Out of the picture. So we have to save.
I don't hang
And
out
even if they
with a lot
want-
of people
even if-
with money, but this is one of the very few times where people with money are like, yeah, I'm not going to spend on that. Like I've met some people where they're just like, oh, I just buy whatever. But I've like actively seen people where they're rich and they're just like, it makes no sense for me to buy something that's worth $10 and spend 100.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like I look at the calculations, right? It's like we know it takes around 600, definitely over 400, say special summons tickets to like pull a unit to like be sort of like mid end game viable, right? And say we have 2 weeks to do that. I go and I look and I see I get 20 tickets for $100 USD. Canadian, that's $140. I'm just gonna close the page. Like, why would I even think about it?
No, I get that.
Like I understand there's price points that need to be made, but like there is no way to purchase things unless you're like driving already in real life a Bugatti. Like you know what I mean?
Well, here's the other thing. A lot of these players that play this game, remember they're casual. So they don't even like look at social media like that. They don't do anything like that. You can talk to there's perfect examples like A Marky Mark. He supported a lot of games with money. And he's never like joined the communities for it to learn like, oh, is there a thing called a pity? Is there this or that? Because there could be a new person, for example, they do like they special summon, they save these tickets and maybe they'll do like 20 or 30 of those tickets and they draw and then like, whoa, I got 2 copies of this guy. Then if they look at the store, it's going to be like, oh, well, I did get 2 to 3 copies of this guy and 30 summons. Maybe if I purchase this other one that costs $100 for 30, I'm going to get the same exact thing. That's like the marketing behind it. But that's usually how games are too.
That's the cash grab concept in like simple words.
But it's just so crazy priced. Like, you know, when you're in the game for a while, it's like, okay, it works on you one time, but after that, why would they ever try it again? They already got burned. They know not to do it again.
Yeah, I think how companies do it, it's a gamble. They're like, maybe the new person who comes in that doesn't think of that stuff, they think they got very, like, not lucky, but they'll be like, yo, this is really good. If I buy more, it makes sense that I'm going to get something similar. I don't know.
Here's the question I got.
But say they buy 40, and then we all know you can quite possibly not draw anything in 200, and they buy 40. That's $200 that they just spent, and they got 0 to show for it. That's what I mean. Like, why would they?
I think my question is this: is there a gacha game that's not a money grab?
I think they
No,
all
they're all
are.
trying to make
I
money.
think
They're
that's
all
what the
making-
core design of gacha games is, that they're all money grab.
If they have pity, they are money grab, but they give you something rewarding towards it.
Yeah, but at the
In
end of
this
the
game,
day,
we don't
there's
have
still
it.
money grab. That what I'm trying to say is that like
But they're
even
giving you something.
but
You're purchasing actually something. Here you're not. You can go
I mean,
to
you're-
150 summons with
if anything,
no
I'd
Akuma.
rather say you're renting more than purchasing. But like that's what I'm trying to get at. Because at
Oh,
the
yeah,
end,
you're
if they
just-
shut it off, you're not keeping this stuff. So you're renting.
Yeah, I said it to be on. Unless you own the physical like cartridge of a game and like a physical system, you're only leasing whatever game. Like all my entire Steam list, if it wasn't backed up on a hard drive or multiple hard drives, and Steam shut down, I could kiss my whole, 400 game Steam list down. Like I could kiss it all goodbye. Like I don't.
I'd cry. Me personally.
Backing it up on hard drives, like I at least know if Steam goes down, I can still play these games
Yeah, exactly.
at whatever patch level they're at.
So I think like maybe the ideology behind what we're asking might need to change, because like what we're hoping for does not seem possible in the realms of gacha games because of how these companies are. They're business first. So
But where's the logic?
That's
of
what I'm
it?
saying.
That's
What I'm
that's
trying to
what
say is
they're-
I'm willing to spend, but I want it to be like I wish things were more like actually affordable.
yes.
No, I agree. I mean, I left that feedback.
You know,
consistently,
like
so I don't know personally if they're gonna
'cause I
capitalize
look
on
at
it.
20. That's what I'm saying. It's like I look at okay, I got say it's like say if I'm like okay, I'll spend like $3 on whatever games a month, right? Then I look at games that come out or whatever. Then I look at okay, I can get 60 special summons. That could maybe get me 0 copies of the unit. I am not gonna put any of that money towards this game. I'll just buy, I'll buy something for my Switch or I might even spend in a different gacha that might be more kind or more in terms of like that, a little bit more affordable for what they're giving you.
Yeah,
And that's my only argument. Is like it's like some people want to spend. It's just they look at the things and it's like like no,
it's not worth it.
yeah, it's not worth it.
I think I will say this. They are exploring the summoning aspects of things, so I do expect changes in the future. It shouldn't be too long.
Mhm.
It should be hopefully very soon. But I do feel that they will make changes. As for what people are asking in specific, it might not be that, but it might actually be a different route, which could actually be better, but it's going to depend on what the community thinks when it comes out. But
I'm gonna tell
I
you
do
what
know
will happen. Okay? Because I see what the devs always do, and it's nothing goes through without them punishing the community and the player base. Nothing. There is zero feedback that came back without punishing the people or the players. So they will give us a pity system, but they will remove the pity system from the normal summons as at 30 and do it exactly like the limited and divination, probably at 80 or 70. They will just hard FS in the ass. That's what I'm expecting from them, because they are literally, they love the concept of punishing players for their actions or for what they want. They wanted something, they punish them for them. They wanted to sell fashion Chun-Li or fire Chun-Li. The people who didn't buy it, they punished it. It punished them for that. The people who didn't buy Nero and pulled Sagat, they punished people for it. So
Yeah,
now
they can't do that
They
in
asked for
Homeland.
Ken. They did the thing for Ken, and because of Ken, all of this thing, they punished the player base for it. No guaranteed copies. And like, if you did 20, you get a copy. If you did the 20, you get 20 shard. No, they removed this concept. And now because we're asking for pity, they will be like, oh, okay, you want pity? Okay, 100 is the pity on every single summon on all of the game. That's what they will do. I can see that. They love to punish and make us hate them. I don't know why. Maybe it's a kink of the devs. They all agree for it.
That's a little extreme. I mean, I hope not.
If this happens, remember my words.
It was this day.
Yeah, no, fair,
Pika
fair,
said
fair.
it.
It was this day. Fair.
It was
But,
this day.
Actually, I have a
Pika said
question
it.
then. I have a question. It might be too soon, and that's fine. But you were able to like enlighten us a little bit on like Flame Chun. Are you able to enlighten us a little bit on like say Nero? Like, did he end up doing a little bit better than Flame Chun?
Yeah, I can't answer that. I'll say the collab in general did really well. Virgil for special summons did excellent with what the current
he's
player
broken.
base is.
He's-
Yeah, so that did
he's really-
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, like because at A rank, you know, that was whatever. And the thing is, Solo says that Nero is like really good. Like he's placing him near basically right behind Honda as like second best tank in the entire game. But the thing is, nobody was able to test that while he was actually on sale. And this is like one of those things is people are like, man, I wish I got him. I wish I got him. I wish I got him. Now that we're discovering, but he's gone. And this is kind of the situation where it's like, he could have probably even sold more if we were able to test these aspects of the character while they're actually here.
It's
rather
the
than
license.
finding out
It's the
after.
time. If they keep them for more time, they're gonna pay for more.
No. There is a way easier fix for this. Remember,
They
MHK?
have it. Yeah, that's why
Remember
I've been
MHK?
bringing this up. They have the 3-day trial.
Let us
That's
play
all
with
exactly
it.
3 days. That's all.
Ah,
we need,
that's
3 days
right.
to test these units.
People knew what
Yeah.
they were getting. People knew what they were spending money on because they had the character. They had
Yeah.
it. They knew what it was doing, and
Yeah.
they knew it was good.
Yeah, but okay, it's a different. Okay, again, the devs are not completely stupid. When they dropped Gormagalakan, they knew how powerful. He's still the most OP character in the game. Now you can put him on par with Virgil if you maxed Virgil, but they gave us the trial for him. It's just for him because they have an idea, they had a plan that people will use him, see how easy the game becomes, and they're gonna go up and summon for him. If they do the same thing for Nero, nobody will buy him, even Wales. Nobody will purchase him. As casual players, maybe Wales will.
He's actually really good.
No, he's not as good as you think.
It's actually as good as you think if you have him at plus 36 out of 6, by the way.
Yeah, like when he's maxed. Like the thing is, there's people playing with him in chapter 40 plus, and he's doing.
Yeah. He's an addition. Is he replaceable? Yes. Ken, is he replaceable? Absolutely not.
I don't know if Ken. I don't have issues with missing him.
But the
I
thing
wouldn't
is,
say
you
about
have a
that.
unit
Ken
that you
is
can
definitely
spend and-
replaceable.
If you had Ken, you're in chapter 41. Like,
Go,
I'm just
pick
telling
up,
you.
pick up. You know what the funny thing about that is? You're
Ken is one team
comparing,
army.
you're comparing Ken to Nero when Ken was a 1k character and Nero is $50. They are
this
not
is what I'm saying.
comparable.
This is what they want to sell the $50. They will not give you trials because free-to-play players and casuals that they think that they will approach. If they try them in teams, they will find like, oh, he's
Why
not
would
that
somebody-
good.
Why would somebody not spend $50 on a unit that is easily able to contend in chapter 40 plus content? That's all people need to see. And they'll be like, yes, I'm buying that character.
If people saw the potential of Flame Chun-Li when she came out, because
Exactly.
now everyone is using Flame Chun-Li. Where were the Flame Chun-Li users, including myself? And I bought her instantly. Where were they at the beginning?
They did a mistake with one character. It's Virgil. Virgil that's needed the trials to show everybody how he is OP, and they push him.
They
Push
didn't.
them. In.
You just needed one copy and he destroyed leaderboards. He did not need a trial. I mean, like... the trial would've been
No.
great.
I mean in chapters, bro. In chapters for story mode. Not for the event. Who cares about the event? For story mode. If you use him in the story
People don't care
mode
about events,
as a
but why would
trial,
people care about Flame Chun-Li?
he's like
Obviously,
Ken.
people care.
He will push you, and people will be like, I'm not a whale, but yeah, I will get him to this SS. I'll pay the $500. I'll pay maybe 1,000 to make him triple S. They should do this for Virgil. If they did the trials for Virgil, I think he will generate a lot of money because he's that broken. But for Nero, for me, it's not.
Well, that's
No,
for
make it
you.
for
That's
Virgil.
for you. I'm talking people who are actually using him in 40 plus content who are able to confirm he is actually really good.
He's not bad. I didn't say he's bad, but I said you can replace him.
You can replace
You could
Virgil. You can
replace him,
replace MH
but-
Ken.
But it will take you harder and it's more
No,
time for you to cross it.
So look,
Same way for Nero. Nero is a plug and play character. He's legendary.
Okay,
you don't need
okay,
more
okay.
copies of him.
You
Okay,
just
can
get
you listen?
one, you pay $50 and then you get him. Like other
Alright,
characters
alright.
you have to summon. Like there's a reason people would spend $50 if they
you-
saw how
okay.
good he was. He may be
Okay,
replaceable.
You
sure.
have Nero, right? Buka, you have Nero, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't have Nero. I don't have Virgil. I rented a fully maxed Virgil and a fully maxed Nero. Nero helped me in 0 ways. Okay? Virgil helped me skip many stages in the story. So I understood how Virgil is OP. Okay?
Okay.
And now I can tell you and you when you rent a hero, you just use 30% of their max power. You know that, right?
Well, it depends where you are, right? Like we were talking about like the scaling because whatnot. But what I'm
Yeah, I'm on chapter 37.
what I'm saying is,
I'm not that
what I'm,
far.
what I'm saying is that's why you have people who are able to like use the unit. Like it's going to matter when you're 30 plus. So maybe the unit's going to be maxed out when you're in chapter 30, right? Maybe the average player may not be able to optimally use them, but people will figure out how to use them and then show people how to use them. And then that in turn will equal sales for the character because people are like,
Exactly.
now I understand how to use Nero. But people like Solo aren't able to show that right away. He's able to show that now, and now you have the Discord. People are going, I wish I got him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on this point. Every unit should have like a 3-day trial, every release of every unit, just like AFK Arena does, and everybody starts buying packs for every single unit, actually, which is free to play on their platform. But people pay more because they try these units and they see that, oh, we can use them in this place and that place. I agree. But I'm telling you, in their heads, the devs, because they have bad strategy, they thought if I was a dev and I'm thinking the same way of them, it will make sense for me as a developer. Yeah, Gormagala Ken is broken. We rent you 3 days, Gormagala Ken. You just jumped like 5 chapters.
The thing is, I don't think you realize we're like our version is the only version that doesn't get 3-day trials on every character.
Oh,
Wait,
I
whoa!
thought
Other versions do that now still?
Yeah, every other
I
version
didn't
still
know
that.
gets it.
Oh,
We're
I
the
did
only
not know
one
that.
that doesn't. I was enlightened to maybe the reason why, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. But I still think we should get it for like it's like if we
It's
can't
a
have a
marketing
test
thing,
server to show
actually.
this stuff,
It's a
then
marketing thing, also.
I mean, is it though? Like, don't people want to test things out before they buy it?
Yeah.
So
the
then
thing
why
is,
not?
here's the
That's
other-
what.
no. The thing is, even if people test it and go, oh, like I don't like him, blah blah blah, but then they see like a YouTube video going, oh my gosh, look at where they shine, and they're like, man, actually, I need that. Then they go and purchase it. So I mean, there's already the little trial inside of whatever that we get, right? The little thing where you can earn rewards. But like we can almost all agree that the character in those trials is absolute trash compared to how they perform outside of those. Those trials probably do more to hurt the character than just giving us a 3-day trial where we can try them anywhere and see where they actually
Exactly,
shine.
because outside the trials in everywhere in every content, your skill tree and your levels and the way you scale your account scales, the hero scales with also. This is why in trials is not relevant to testing. Yeah, 100%. I agree on this point.
I think with like Gore Magala Ken, for example, where it was the free trial and stuff, it could have been, and this is what we've seen personally, but in-game feedback, we did see people that obviously used Gore Magala Ken so much they got through content they shouldn't have, and they decided not to purchase Gore Magala Ken or anything. So when they realized they lost Gore Magala Ken, now they felt like they were stuck and they couldn't move. So we actually did get a lot of feedback for that. So I don't know if that was the reason why the devs were like, okay, this is our solution. But we did
Okay.
get feedback on it.
So you're telling
Yeah,
me
I
the
didn't wanna
devs
say
look at these
you told
kind
me
of
that.
feedback and take them religiously, but what the constructive feedbacks, they don't look at them?
Well, I mean, that could have been what they thought was constructive because players were like, look, I can't play this game anymore. And then they're like, oh, well, if you can't at all play this game, that might be a problem.
The more
but
I
that's
know
how
about the
players were
devs, the
complaining about it.
more I think that they're just not the brightest in some areas.
Me personally, I like the trial, but I think it was because of that, because we did see a few comments and miraculously there were people that upvoted it. So there was enough outcry in that way. I just kind of wish they
Well,
handled it differently, but that
I
was
get it,
kind of
'cause-
their, yeah.
Monster Hunter Ken is actually like ridiculously broken. But the thing is, all the characters they've released since that, none of them will progress you through the campaign to that level. But they have their niches where they're going to like whatever. Like Flame Chun-Li. If you want to get to the top of the leaderboard, have her in a team. Like 100%.
Yeah, in the events and bossing, she's
Right.
she's ridiculously broken with any fire unit like Dalsim or Fashion Blanca. She's ridiculously broken.
Yeah, but
And-
the thing
and-
is, you can't test that
and
in the
yeah,
little trial that we got.
There's another unit that they brought that could push you to chapters that you can't actually do whatever you do, even if you have Gormagala can, because he's on one team, which is Virgil. Virgil is broken beyond limits. Probably I would put him on par with Gormagala, maybe even slightly more broken than Gormagala. You can run a full team, like you can run a full run without him even dying and spamming all his skills. Because now we have Yang on the assist, we have Chun-Li, we have other units that will give you energy in combo meter that you can spam his skills non-stop. And I did that with a trial version, man, with a renty version that I rented. Imagine if it was my unit that I'm doing this, that I would like go further and further with this.
So the thing is, they could like, okay, so for challenge, if the issue is people getting too far ahead in challenge, maybe they could like figure out a way that in challenge specifically, or maybe towers, things that are like crazy progress based, it should be very apparent within like 6 or 7 uses whether the character is that broken.
Buka, I will ask you, Dom, is it bad that people are breaking the limits, that there's nothing that should be,
It isn't,
you're
because at
not
the end of the
Yes,
day,
yes.
they get more idle, but the things, people don't think about it like that, right?
yeah,
They
but
think
you shouldn't
oh, I
be
can't-
like,
Yes, but we're all
nobody should-
forgetting the main fix for this. How do mercs work?
it's not working anymore.
No, but how do
You only
mercs
could
work?
use them for a
in
certain
challenge.
amount of
Oh,
time.
actually,
Yeah,
Mercs,
exactly.
Mercs. I'm just gonna say, I'm at 3520, right? I'm chapter 35. Anytime I borrow a master or an infernal or even legendary merc from anybody, I don't know why they come with only 5 of 6 cars. It
Oh yeah,
never used to
that's
be like
that's
that.
an actual
It-
bug.
It
No,
changed.
it's not a bug.
It is because no. Trust me. It is a
It
bug
never used
because
to be like that.
sometimes
It
I
was
can
sitting
refresh my
somewhere.
game. Sometimes I can refresh my game and I do get the 6 out of 6. It is an actual bug.
It's not a bug. You get them with 6 cars always, even if it shows 5.
You definitely
okay?
don't. You definitely don't. I tested.
Okay,
I
okay,
got.
I understand. I understand. Did you test it and see if the 6 out of 6 proc
Yes,
or
that's.
not?
I was just about to say that before you stopped me. I've tried the 6 of 6s.
I tried
don't
it,
get
and
that.
I have a video ready for this. It was my
Okay.
next video.
But
Well,
the
then
thing is
maybe
like
this
if
is
it works
maybe-
for one
maybe-
person,
maybe-
doesn't necessarily mean it
Yeah.
works for the other.
Because remember, the duping thing was a problem in EU, but not in North America.
Oh, true. Okay, you have a big point with this. Maybe for you guys on NA, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Guys, we also have to remember, like, I've been listening to the trials and whatnot, but we have to remember that people like us and new players are different too. So, like,
Yeah, exactly.
to support Dino's point, you can't just give
Yeah.
somebody a rocket ship and then just let him blast off into space without a way back. You know what I mean?
I get that. I understand that.
But,
Okay, I get
you
that.
know what? Hold on. No. I'm gonna
What?
say
It's
this
about timing.
in terms of them doing whatever business decisions that they want to do, and just like throw it, YOLO it. Yes, you can absolutely give someone a rocket ship and not have them come back down. Like that, like
Yeah,
the way that
No,
they
no.
act and make the choices. Yes, you can absolutely do that. That I can't.
Actually-
like you got. That bothers me. Sorry.
No, sorry. Just thinking back.
Well, how come?
No. I just want to say, just thinking back, because I've been like this contact that I have. All of Virgil and Nero had 3-day trials. Like they've been doing 3-day trials since day 1 of Taiwan release. And I know we're not supposed to compare versions and all that stuff, but like things like that, if that's going to be used as a point of argument, like why is it allowed there but not here?
Because we complain about it.
The structure of their content is different or no? Like,
It's
what?
the exact same. Taiwan's is exactly the same as ours. Actually, in some respects, ours is a little bit easier. In Supreme Fist, they start getting 2 teams at floor 420. 2
Or
teams.
50. Yeah.
or 450 for, yeah, 450. Sorry, 450. 2 teams.
So the only reason I would say it would be different is if Taiwanese people were doing different type of content.
Everything is exactly the same. Where we get 3 team, they get 3 team. Where we get 4 team, they get 4 team. 5 team in the
No,
place.
but they get it differently. Okay, we get.
It's not. It's the same.
We get 2 teams.
No. It's different.
Okay, the second team that they fight,
No,
the
it's
second
exactly
team
the
that they
same.
fight
It's
is
exactly
lower.
the same. It's not.
There's a video. You showed me the video. Who showed me the video?
I didn't show you that video. No.
They showed that the
have
second
other
team
videos.
is all SS plus, and they're not triple S that they're fighting.
Maybe in the tower, but in challenge, no.
Okay, I don't know. I can't be 400% sure. Like I will not be arguing that.
That's the other thing that I guess my question is that like it's literally the same developer on at least 2 regions. So how can we not compare if it's the same guy, same person?
No, you
It's
can
because
compare.
the CN version is also different, right? Because here's the other thing you have to think of: there's the CN version that exists, and that's completely different to all the other versions. And Topjoy is also in charge of that one.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Why can't we compare because of that?
Well, it's because they don't treat those versions in that way. So there might be some favorable stuff, like how they view it. There might be some favorable stuff here, like getting more gems, as opposed to the Taiwanese version, which apparently doesn't give a lot of gems. So like, there's clearly like a lot of differences between them. I don't know if it's just the devs like testing what works better at different places. I don't know.
Lionel, you said it before, and I agree with you. If you give our global version to the Chinese people, player base, to play it, the game will flop massively. They will not play it. It will flop instantly. The type of games that, if you watched how the Chinese version on Science Storm videos, it's a 24-hour grind playthrough. And this is what the Chinese
theirs is
culture will love.
or theirs isn't an idol. Sorry, theirs is not an idol.
AJs love these games. If you give them a game just like us, this global idling AFK game, they will like, what the hell is this? And it will flop massively. Other games similar to this game, as the concept of idling and minimal, like you do dailies and stuff, it doesn't work for them. They love the grindy 24 hours playing games. This is what works in China. It's depending on the culture, as you said before, 100%.
But obviously, that does have...
Whoa, that's new. Holy, hold on.
What?
I'm gonna message Tix. On my Android version of Street Fighter Duel, I just saw right now there's an Apple login option.
On your Crunchyroll.
On my Crunchyroll.
Okay, on A plus
Android version.
On A plus Androids, I do not have it.
On oh crap. On Crunchyroll, North America, this Apple option was not here. I don't know that has not been there within the last like 4 days.
It could have, that could be new. We did hire some guy not too long ago to kind of change how we're having login methods and stuff. So
I actually have some friends to message because
After
they
the lost
are going
accounts?
to jump for joy.
This is after the
surprised they didn't like.
lost.
But we did actually. We hired a director of operations, and he handles stuff like this, and that was like a requirement. So
I'm just saying
By the way,
that
Dino-
option is huge right now.
Yeah, it's
My
good.
buddy just said that's game changing. Like
Just a
he's
question.
gonna play again.
Just a question. A friend of mine moved to North America for his job for like 3 months,
Alright,
but he played on EU. So how is he supposed to play? Is it like a way?
Yeah,
he
somebody
has to play in the US version at that point.
Okay, so basically he has to completely start fresh.
Yes.
No.
Until he goes back.
Listen, there's somebody posted about this in the chat before. He was in Germany and he went to USA or Canada, I forgot. But he had to enable VPN and.
Okay, we can't talk about that here.
VPN.
You can't talk about that here. Yeah, you can't talk about an official server. You know what I mean? You have to live in.
No.
That's why I said.
Yeah, you have to live. But if you what I'm saying,
You're fine. Yeah,
Okay,
but not fine in this server.
Okay,
what you
okay,
said is okay. It's okay with me. It's just not okay here.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
People just
text,
travel
we
to the
gotta nuke
country
it.
and play the game in it. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
It's like that's why it's like for when most people when they start
I'm
mentioning
not
it,
promoting anything.
Yeah, no, you're good. The thing is, it's like it's one of those things because people use it outside properly
Yeah, I get it,
without
I
an
get it.
issue. It's just that.
It's funny. I was just watching a little thing on the first person who ever cracked the iPhone and the PlayStation 3.
What, jailbreaking?
Yeah, like the first person who ever did either one of those, and yeah, it wasn't like an intended thing, but people did malicious things with it. So like as a result, it's like, oh,
Because what could happen is like I know what like Pika said was harmless, but there could be someone like it could be like the publishers, for example, and they say, wait, why is somebody in our location playing your version? At that point, it's like then maybe you should pay these server costs and not us. You know what I mean? It becomes a bigger issue. So that's why it's like we don't promote that, because if it shows that we're promoting that, we're all kind of fucked. So it becomes like an issue with everyone involved in some way.
Yeah.
But yeah, what Pika said was not wrong. So if your friend did that, they can do that. But it's yeah.
it's at their discretion, just like how I play on my main PC or my main phone. Main phone.
Yeah, you're playing on your phone. Good.
My
Yeah.
main phone, yeah.
Yeah, playing on your
It's great.
phone.
It's great. It's
Because I know some of you guys got like 5 different phones apparently. So
Oh yeah, no. I'm playing on my main phone as well. I'm also playing on my main phone. Don't worry about it. Like my phone just has a very weird name, but that's okay. It's like a very weird Chinese brand.
Hey, look, listen, some of those brands
Yo.
are legit. Cause I had a poker phone, and I only paid like $200
yeah.
bucks for that. That
Yo.
phone was like cracked out. I love that
Yeah,
phone.
but my phone. I'll post the name of it in the chat here, so I don't say it out loud. This is the
Way
name of
back.
my current phone.
Whoa. So was it like way back? I remember like when Oppo wasn't like a known brand really in North America. I used to work in the cell phone like repair industry and stuff like that. But like you tell people about an Oppo phone, they'd be like, "What the heck is that?" And like, bro, you have no idea how much hardware you're getting for them. It's like
Yeah.
everything over here is a scam compared to what you're getting, and it's like people are like, "Wait, what?" And they like got put on to that, and then look at where they are now.
Yeah, that's why I only get Android at this point, because just like you can do so much with the
sworn
Android
of
and
Apple
pay.
a long time ago.
Yeah,
Apple's little ecosystem for like a quote unquote normie is amazing, but for somebody who wants a little bit more, Android's where it's at.
well, we're getting sidetracked, so let me end the
Yeah,
podcast.
sorry.
Thank you for everyone that's listening. From Friday Fighters, we love you all. It may seem that we're negative on the game, but this is all because we're passionate and we want it to survive, and we love it.
We love the game.
We love the game.
Yeah, we love the game. I wouldn't spend if I didn't.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here
Trust me, you've
wasting
not seen
time
some of
and
us
breath
here.
if we didn't love the game. Yeah, so on that, stay happy, stay hydrated, stay alive. We're out.